everyone, Ryan from Ebike Escape. Before we get started with this video, if you've been watching my channel and you're enjoying my videos and you're not a subscriber, please consider subscribing. Over 95% of my visitors to my YouTube channel are not subscribed, and this is a metric that many electric bike companies use to decide whether they're going to work with me. So if you wouldn't mind, please hit that subscribe button, and hopefully I'll be able to bring you more e-bike reviews like this one. Today I have the Ride1Up LMT'D. This was a bike that was announced just this year. I received one of the first 70 of these bikes with the swept-back handlebars that were shipped just this past week. I received mine on Thursday. What's interesting to note is Ride1Up will continue to make changes to this bike and all their other models as they see fit. I learned this in my interview with Kevin Duggar. I'll put a link in the top right-hand corner of your screen if you're interested in learning a little bit more about Ride1Up, the company. So the Ride1Up offers many different models. They have the Core 5 starting at $1095, and it goes all the way up to $1799 for the LMT'D. This is listed as their fastest electric bike. And so one of the reasons I wanted to check out this bike is because it has hydraulic disc brakes, which the 700 series also has. The torque sensor, which I have not experienced myself. I'm only used to the cadence sensors. The air suspension fork, so you're getting a little higher components there. And the powerful motor. So this has a 750 watt nominal, 1000 peak watt motor. And it is also a high torque motor. So you're looking at 100 Newton meters of torque. And you compare that to other models, depending on the brand, these can be around 50, 56 I've seen. So this is definitely a very torquey motor. So let's get into what I actually think of this bike. Just a reminder before we get started, if you're looking at purchasing any of the models offered by Ride1Up, please use the link in the description, as that helps support Ebike Escape. So firstly, I'm going to walk through all of the negative things that I've noted after riding this bike for the past few days. So you may notice, if you're looking at this bike, that this one has a bunch of accessories on it, and the stock bike doesn't come with any accessories except for the water bottle cage. So if you're comparing that to other Ride1Up bikes that come, for instance, with fenders or the rear rack, this one comes with none of that. So you'll have to purchase it separately. Generally, I think this is okay. However, I do like having an integrated light that runs off the battery, both front and rear. Beyond that, I think most of the time it's nice to be able to purchase some of the other accessories that you want. I will put a link to the description of all of these accessories, and I will also put the link to the video that I recently walked through all of the accessories that I currently have on the LMT'D. So beyond the accessories, one thing that I noticed when I was riding this bike is, I believe it has to do with the frame design. You'll notice that there's a big scratch on the pedals right there. That's because when I was leaning into a corner, I actually caught the pedal when it was down. And so that is something to keep in mind. I am definitely aware of that now, keeping my pedals even when I'm leaning through corners, and leaning on the corners is definitely something that you can do with how fast this bike goes. So definitely just something to keep in mind if you are purchasing this bike. The other thing that I wanted to talk about is the kickstand. If possible, it would have been nice for them to put the kickstand back towards the rear. Again, a small thing, but certainly something to keep in mind. The other thing, when I first received my electric bike, underneath here, there are actually some wires that were connections that were actually exposed, and I had emailed Ride1Up and asked them about this, and they're actually currently developing a custom rubber cap so that this will be better protected, and so that's something that's really nice. I did ask them if it's possible for other riders or people who have received the first generation of this bike, if it is possible for us to purchase them, or if they would be willing to send those over. So I'll post an update in the description if they are able to do that. So that pretty much sums up some of the negatives. One thing I wanted to spend a little bit more time on is this high torque motor. This is not necessarily going to be the right bike for someone who might be purchasing their first electric bike or doesn't want something that's going to be quite this fast. I think a lot of people, when they're looking at these motors and all the specs, they think more is always better, and that's not going to be the case for every rider. When you use the throttle on this, it's almost like lurches forward, so you need to be ready for it. I personally, having owned other electric bikes, this is something that makes this bike a ton of fun. So just something that's worth considering if you're looking at this electric bike. A lot of the other models from Ride1Up will still get you up to speed plenty fast, and this bike will just do it a little bit faster. I wanted to spend a little bit of time talking about some of the general things about this bike. It arrived in good shape. There was just one mark on the frame there, which was no big deal. You can expect just small amounts of damage just based off of the fact that these bikes are shipped across the country. Assembly was pretty easy. I will put a link to my unboxing video in the top right hand of this video. One of the things that you do have to do with this bike is install the front fork. This was the first time that I had done it, but I actually looked at the install video from the 700 series, and that was really helpful. Just remember, if you want to have the warranty by Ride1Up, you'll need to take it to a bike mechanic and get it signed off on. Otherwise, you can just have a bike shop assemble the bike for you. One other thing worth noting is the color of the bike. It looks slightly different, at least on my computer, to what it looks like here in person. It's a little bit darker, I feel like. It's kind of a brown, it has this really nice matte finish there, and I think it looks fantastic. One of the things that initially attracted me to this bike is that integrated battery and controller. So many people wouldn't even realize that this is an electric bike, so I think it's really cool. This is the Ride1 batteries that Kevin told me about in my interview with him, and the only thing worth mentioning is this water bottle that comes with it. It's actually pretty difficult to clear this. It is possible when you take the battery out, but I'll probably remove this and put some other accessory, either our lock or our hand pump, something like that. It's just not, this clearance here where this comes out is just not ideal for easily removing and replacing the battery. And the only other thing worth mentioning on the battery is it does have a charge indicator. I've seen, I believe, green and then blue lights. I haven't drained it completely, so I'm not sure exactly what those indicators mean, but I will include any other details on my full write-up back at Ebike Escape as I learn more about this bike. And then size-wise, this is an 18.5-inch seat tube. It fits both me and my wife quite well. I'm 6 feet tall. My wife is right around 5'4". She was feeling very comfortable on the bike, just adjusting the seat post a little bit. I think one other really important factor with this bike is the weight. I believe on the website it is listed at 51 pounds, which I wanted to verify because the shipping information that I received said the bike was, or the packaging was about 70 pounds. So I actually went to my friend's house, weighed myself, and then weighed myself holding the bike up, and I weighed it at approximately 55.6 pounds. I don't think that is an exact measurement, but I just wanted to see if we were in the right ballpark. So that means that this is on the lighter side of some of the other electric bikes that I've personally ridden. And I actually found that if I needed to ride this bike without the battery, or if the battery was drained, that it actually isn't going to be too difficult. So something to keep in mind. This is on the lighter side of electric bikes from what I've seen and what I have ridden. Okay, and then jumping into the cockpit, I'm going to turn the screen on here. And so this is a nice color screen. You have pedal assist buttons for plus and minus there. What's kind of cool is you actually get a vibration feedback when you press these buttons. That's not something that I knew was actually going to be on this screen. You can see that I recently did a trip of 17.6 miles. I had the bike maybe 80 or 90% charged, and I really put this bike through its paces on this ride. We went up hills with throttle only. I was going at least 20 most of the way, really using the throttle a lot. Pedal assist 5, so I got 17.6 miles, and you can see we still have 1 bar left of green. And if you hit this button, you can get your time, odometer, total of 27 miles so far, average speed, and max speed. So overall, I'm pretty happy with this screen. The color screen is definitely a nice addition. And then of course you have the thumb throttle here on the left. It took me a little bit getting used to, as I'm used to a twist throttle on the right hand side of my Radwagon, but I actually do like the thumb throttle. That felt pretty good on our ride. So I had to move into the garage due to the wind noise. A couple more things that I wanted to touch on here in the cockpit. One is the hydraulic disc brakes. I have been enjoying those quite a bit. While they are a little bit more difficult to maintain than mechanical disc brakes, the stopping power is really great, and the adjustability on the brakes is much easier. It felt a little less finicky as I was adjusting those than our Radwagon. I know the 700 series also comes with hydraulic disc brakes, so definitely something worth considering. The other thing up here are these nice locking grips. My wife actually noted these, and while it is a small upgrade, and certainly you could upgrade any other electric bike that you have, it is nice that it came with some nice grips. One thing that I got a couple questions about were the swept back handlebars. So this was the only option if you wanted to be a part of the first batch of the limited. The straight handlebar models weren't shipping out until August, I believe. So I was a little bit disappointed and figured I'd probably upgrade to straight handlebars, but I have to say I am actually really enjoying the swept back bars. It's a little bit more comfortable riding position, but it still feels a little bit more aggressive, if you will, than for instance the swept back bars on my Radwagon. I was also able to make all the accessories work, although I do have to adjust the positioning of the handlebar mirrors. The seat that it comes with is nothing to write home about, although I think I am going to keep it on, at least for now. If you're looking for a little bit more comfort, you might want to consider, for instance, the Suntour NCX suspension seat post. I actually have one that I recently received on my Radwagon, and I'm going to be reviewing it. So if you're looking for more comfortable riding, in addition to that nice front suspension, consider getting a seat post. And then the Cloud 9 seats are fairly popular by folks who are looking for a little bit more comfortable ride. As far as the drivetrain goes, this comes with Shimano Altus, which I'm familiar with since my Radwagon also has it. It's certainly nothing to write home about, but it gets the job done. I had to make some slight adjustments, which was actually fairly easy. I would have liked to see a derailleur guard on here. Maybe that'll be an improvement for the future. Also worth mentioning down here is it does come with a chain guard, a clear plastic piece. You could buy something a little bit more heavy duty if you wanted, but that was nice to see that it came with that. So before I get to the riding footage, I just want to show how the battery is removed. Comes with 2 keys. Put it in, turn it to the right. That pops out the battery. And it's a little trickier to do it with just one hand. I'll do my best here. And you're going to see that clearance is just a little bit tricky there. Again, this is the Rienchen packs that Kevin talked about in my interview with him. Really slick, integrated into the frame. And that's pretty much it. Now let's get to the riding footage. Okay, so we are midway up a pretty steep hill, and we're going to see just how well the Limited does on steep hills. Pedal assist 2, my gear I think is at like 6. And it's a workout, but it's not like I have to stand up. I don't have to stand up and pedal, but it's a good workout for my legs. Okay, so now he is going up pedal assist 5. So this is getting 23, then 22, 21, now 17, 16. Throttle only, 13 miles an hour, 12, going about 900 watts. 11 miles an hour, still going, no pedaling. 11 miles an hour. Okay, so this is a pretty big hill. I have it in pedal assist 3, almost the highest gear, pedaling very moderately.
In 800 feet, turn right.
I would say a medium level of pedaling. I'm going 17 miles an hour. Still going up this hill. Again, almost highest gear. Pedal assist 3.
Turn right, then turn left.
Down to 13 miles an hour using 550 watts approximately. So there you have it, only in pedal assist 3. Still going uphill at 13. Okay, and then go up to pedal assist 2. And then now do throttle only. Yeah. I pedal assist 1. Pedal assist 1. Pedal assist 2. I'm watching for cars. We're good. And then full throttle. Yeah. You ready? Yep. Cool. Alright, nice. Yeah. Those clips are meant to demonstrate just how capable this motor really is. If you live in a hilly area, this will be able to flatten almost any hill. I was having a ton of fun on this, and of course it gets up to speed extraordinarily fast. I was able to get all the way up to 28 miles per hour during my test ride, and the range is excellent, and of course you have the stopping power that those hydraulic disc brakes offer, and I really like the tires that they include from Schwalbe. If you're looking for a Class 3 electric bike that has some of the features that you don't often see at this price point, I definitely think the Ride1Up LMT'D is worthy of consideration. I think it offers an incredible value, and so do all the other models offered by Ride1Up. I recently did a video comparing all the specifications from each model in their lineup. I will put a link to that in the description, as well as links to my accessories page and the page where I track deals for the electric bike brands that I follow. Please use the link in the description if you're looking to purchase a Ride1Up electric bike. As always, thanks for watching.